What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, you guys? Come on in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the REI Decoded Facebook group. This group is for aspiring real estate investors who are struggling, trying to find a deal, trying to fund their deals, trying to finish a few deals so that they can finally build wealth and create consistent cash flow without using any of their own money. We're your hosts, we're your teachers, the Denmarks. I'm Ashley Denmark,
I'm Antonio Demar.
and we have been exactly where you are. Like, we felt your pain, we know exactly where you are. We have made a ton of mistakes early on, and now we're on a mission to help more people, help others decode real estate investing and avoid the traps that slowed us down, so that you can move faster and win bigger. All right. So today we are going to talk about a topic that has been near and dear in real estate these last few days. We're going to be talking about, what do I do if my home doesn't sell, right? What do I do if
Give up.
Never quit. That's what you do. You never quit.
Give
All right.
up.
You may pull some different tools from your tool belt, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about exactly which tools do you grab if the house isn't selling and it's been listed for quite some time, and your whole purpose was to flip. What do I do? What do I do? Tanya, what do I do? I don't do what?
Quit.
I don't quit. Absolutely. So
Put that in the fun.
come on in the room.
In the room.
Also, for those of you who are watching live, I want you to put hashtag live in the chat so we know that you are watching live. For those of you who are watching this on the replay, put replay in the chat so that we know. At the end, we're going to give away one of our freebies, and that freebie is just stay to the end. Can I tell them?
Stay to the end.
Stay to the end, and then I'll tell y'all what the freebie is. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
We believe in partnership. There's time, there's talent, and there's treasure. First thing you need to do is identify what you have. And once you identify what you have, start looking for other people that don't have what you have. A lot of the things you hear us do, a lot of the things that we talk about, they're from experiences.
We want you to get creative. We want you to think outside the box, because that's really where it lies. Let's go. Man, I'm so excited. I'm so geeked. Antonia and I just got back. We'll call it a world tour. Eh? We just got back from Atlanta, Virginia over the weekend. So I'm happy to be back. I am happy to be back into the swing of things. I want you guys, if you know someone that has a property that's been sitting and it's time for them to be a little creative, it's time for them to use some creative strategies, I want you to tag them on this live, invite them into the group. If they are not in the group, I want you to invite them into the group, because I don't want you to hold this knowledge or try to explain it to them and have a hard time explaining it to them. I need you to just invite them, tag them in the group, get them in, so that way they can know what type of tool they need to pull from their tool belt, from their toolbox, to make this happen in this type of market. All right. You all right? You ready today, Tonio?
Lero.
What's up, Sharita? What's up, Kieran? Hey, Cody. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Kevin. What's up, Yes? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Y'all doing good today? Let me know in the chat if y'all doing good. How are you guys doing today? Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Sonny, you think they ready?
Let's go. We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out.
One way to find out, and that's by going.
That's by going. Absolutely. All right. So, this market is doing something that, let me say, it has done before. And when it does things like this, sometimes flipping isn't your best option. Although flipping is an option that it sounds, I'm gonna tell y'all this all the time. Flipping sounds sexy, all right? But sometimes it's not the most sexiest strategy to use, all right, in total transparency. Sometimes it's not the best one to use. Sometimes you're gonna have to do some things, be creative. Sometimes you may have to market different, but most importantly, you're gonna have to not be a one-trick pony. All right. Not gonna have to be a one-trick pony in these markets. When we first started, we were one-trick ponies. You agree? We bought the deal, we rehabbed it, and put a tenant in place. That was us. That's all we did. And then when we started flipping, we know what to do because we were so used to being that one-trick pony, and it scared the crap out of us. All right, it scared the crap out of us because things changed. We had to use different contractor. We had to use different financing options, and it was in that moving out of that comfort zone where we had to find out, what do these financing options really mean? Like, what are we doing? What do they really mean? And it led us to hard money. It led us to not doing your traditional financing, maybe not doing 30-year just yet, but really being creative and taking it off the market, putting a tenant in place to be able to do it. All right. So we're gonna jump into it. Tanya, if you're ready, we're gonna jump into it. And we're gonna talk about first, because some of you may not know what is hard money. I know some people are doing some deals that are doing it in their cash deals, and you've never used any type of financing outside of your traditional financing. So we're gonna break it down and talk about first what is hard money, and then how do you shift in this market. All right.
One thing I do want to say is, for people who have never used hard money, if you ever really want to judge hard money, I want you to ask people who are doing 20 plus deals a year and ask them what type of financing are they using. All right. I can almost guarantee you they're going to tell you they're not using their cash.
They are not using their cash.
I can almost guarantee it. They are either using hard money or they are raising money through a fund. Mm-hmm. All right. So understand, the people that do real estate at a high level and do a lot of real estate, they use OPM, which we call other people's money. In order to raise money like most of them people do, you got to start somewhere. You got to build your social proof through using hard money and doing some deals before you can get to the point of saying, hey, I'm finna create a fund and raise money. All right. So understand that hard money is a part of the journey to where you go when you're trying to get started. Also is where you go when you're trying to scale.
Right.
All right. Some reasons why we use hard money is it's low documentation. Most of the time, they're not asking for tax returns. They're not asking for W-2s. They're not asking for your work history. It's low documentation. All right. It's asset-based lending, meaning they're looking at the deal for majority of the qualifications. If it's a deal, they can work it out with you for the most part. All right. There's no limit to the number of deals you can do. There is no DTI when it comes to hard money lending. It's either you got money in the bank to do the deal or you don't.
Or you don't.
All right. It does not report to your personal credit. So a lot of times people are like, hey, I don't want to mess up my personal credit getting a hard money loan. Hard money loans do not report to personal credit. Unless you mess up, That's something totally different. Now, do you guarantee the loan? Do you PG the loan? Yes. But does it show up on your credit? No.
Mhm.
All right. You can close quick. Hard money lenders can close in 10 to 14 days. 7 if you do what you got to do. Little to no seasoning is required. That's super important when you're talking about refinancing and getting in and out of different properties. All right. So hard money is something that we didn't use for the first 6 years of our investing career. It's because we were scared of it. We didn't want to pay interest. It had such a bad stigma in the circles that we were in. But we quickly realized those circles weren't doing deals at a high level. They was doing 1 or 2 deals just like we was doing, if that, a year. So understand that you gotta make sure you're asking the right questions and you're getting around the right people. And I'm not saying just take our word for it. I'm saying let's go get on Facebook. Let's ask some of these high level people. Go to see some of your meetups and ask people who are doing 10 plus deals a year, 20 deals a year. What are they using for financing? All right. Go ask some people. Go network and connect with some people. Don't just take my word for it. I know all of them for the most part. That's in that world, that stereotype of person who's doing those type of deals. And I understand the amount of time and cash it takes to do that level of deals. All right.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I love when it comes to hard money is they have, over the years, they have evolved. All right. They did start off as one trick ponies, and now they have more. Like they do fix and flip loans, they do bridge loans, which is what we're going to talk about today, rental financing, multifamily, new construction. Like they understand the needs of an investor. Let me say that first and foremost. They understand the needs of an investor, and they have built products to be able to help us to scale our business, to help us be able to create that wealth, that generational wealth. All right. We cannot do this all on our own. Don't let anyone tell you that you could do it all on your own. You will not get far trying to do it all on your own. But together, we can accomplish it. All right.
The one thing about bridge loans is almost like a fix and flip loan had a baby with a rental loan, and it's like they kind of like made a baby in the middle somewhere. So like that's kind of how I like to describe bridge loans. It's not a fix and flip loan. It's not a rental long-term loan. It's like they had a baby, and it's kind of somewhat in the middle for real.
Yeah. If any of you have done a bridge loan before, type me in the chat. I just want to see if any of you have done a bridge loan before. Mr. Wilson said facts that investors aren't using their own money. They're using other forms of money. Absolutely. And so look, for those of you who have used a bridge loan before, you can chime in. But for those of you who have not, let's talk about it. All right. So things that the hard money lender is looking for, they're looking to make sure you have a deal. They're making sure that you got money in the bank, that you have a credit score above a 600. All right. When it comes to a bridge loan, they're not really high and mighty on it, but 600 is good enough.
If you are lower than 600, we still have options for you. You're just gonna pay more for those options. All right.
And then they want to make sure you have LLC. All right. They're not lending it to your personal. They need to make sure you got an LLC.
And for that LLC, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a old LLC. A lot of times people get it confused between business funding and real estate funding. Like you can create an LLC on Monday and get a bridge loan on Wednesday. Like it's just that simple. It's just that quick. All right. So don't let not having an LLC stop you from getting a bridge loan.
Bridge loan typically comes in the form of a refinance. All right. And it is where your new loan is going to replace that existing loan. And that loan is used it can also be to leverage free and clear properties, or it can be to have lower monthly payments. But it's going to be in the form of a refinance, more than likely, for a bridge loan. All right. In that refinance, hey, Joy, you got 2 different types: cash out and rate and term. All right. You want to add to it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Cash out and the rating term. Cash out means when I leave the closing table, I'm leaving the closing table with cash. I'm leaving the closing table with a check, with the wire. That's what cash out means. All right. Rate in term means I am putting everything into my loan. Sometimes I may get a lower interest rate when I do rate in term. I may get
Higher leverage.
higher leverage. They may go up to 80% depending on the lender. When I do a rate in term, but I'm not getting any money back. Okay. Yeah, I got that. All right. So bridge loans are not long loans. All right. They're typically very short. They are between 12 to 24 months. All right. Some can be shorter. You know any of them longer?
No.
No.
I know.
Okay.
I know of one that got a 24 with a built-in extension of a year, but nothing initially longer than 24.
Yeah. The interest rates are going to be higher. Okay. But we already know we're not scared of interest rates, y'all, right? Because we know how to calculate what our interest is going to be. And 1,500, 2,000 doesn't scare us if we're trying to make some real money, right?
Also, we got to remember that interest rate, the tenant is going to pay that interest rate. Because most of the time you get into a bridge loan, most of the time you have a tenant in place. So that interest rate is not a big factor if the tenant is paying.
Absolutely. Bridge loans can be a cash out or a terms refinance. Okay. You can pick either one, even though you're doing a bridge loan. All right. Closings are super fast when you're doing a bridge loan versus your DSCR loans. All right. Bridge loan, you can close anywhere between, I would say, 10 and 14 days. Once title is pretty much clear. DSCR is going to take you about 20, maybe 35 days to close. All right.
They're interest only loans.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
It's not like your DSCR loans or your rental loans to where you're paying a PITI and your insurance and taxes and all that's included. No, you are interest only loans. So you're not paying any other principal. All right. So that's key to keep in mind.
Absolutely. Loan qualifications, there's a loan application. They want to make sure who you say you are. So your photo ID, your entity documents, 2 months of bank statements, schedule of any real estate you own. If you don't own any real estate except this one, then that's easy. Evidence of insurance. They want to know this property is insured, and they're going to ask you to add them on as the mortgagee on the mortgagee clause. Minimum 600 credit score. Again, if it's the deal, they'll take under 600. Just expect to pay more. All right. And then
minimum 7,000 in the bank. And we just say 7,000, but most of the time they want to make sure that you can make 3 to 4 months payments. Like they don't want to give you a new loan and you don't got no money in the bank and you're solely relying on that tenant. Because if that tenant don't pay their rent, you're still responsible for making that payment. So they want you to have some money in the bank. If you're doing a cash out, a lot of lenders will use that cash out as money going in the bank. So if you just got all your money tied up into this property and you go do a cash out bridge loan and get 10,000 back, they can use that 10,000 as money in the bank.
Why would I go bridge? Like, why should I even go
this
bridge?
Is super important right here.
We get this question so much. All right. Why do I go bridge? Why not just keep my house on the market? Even though it's not selling, I'm getting a few people to come visit it. Why not just let me stick with my plan? I feel better with my plan. All right. So if you don't have a great credit score, then a bridge is your best refinance option. All right. If you don't have a great credit score, a bridge loan is your best refinance strategy.
If you plan on selling this house before 3 to 5 years, then a bridge is also your best option because there's a prepayment penalty with most DSCR loans. Can you do different things and pay more to potentially adjust that? Yes. But in a general sense, when you are doing a DSCR loan, you are going to have a prepayment penalty. So if you got, for us, a tenant buyer or we still trying to sell the house on the market. I don't want to go into a long-term loan because I'm just going to be paying out prepayment money.
Yeah, and I don't want to waste funds doing it that way. If you need to close fast because your hard money lender is saying, listen, I've given you too many extensions and we can't do this any longer, and you need to sell fast, bridge loan would be the fastest way out to get it done.
If you don't have enough cash flow to go DSCR, all right. So if your rent isn't high enough, if the interest rates are too high, if the insurance was too high for some whatever reason, like if your DSCR isn't in line, and DSCR mean your rent.
Oh, go ahead. I thought you was giving the acronym. Okay, go.
DSCR basically says your rent divided by your monthly expenses. If that's not in line for a DSCR long-term loan, then you can't go that way. All right. A bridge loan becomes the best option.
Mm-hmm. If you are planning on going the traditional route and refinancing with the traditional lenders, so you get very low interest rate and you're okay with it hitting your credit, but you don't have enough seasoning, meaning you haven't owned the home long enough to go refinance traditional, then you would do bridge first and then go refinance the traditional way.
Yeah. So for the record, we're not totally against doing traditional financing. All right. One of the reasons that we don't like traditional, two main reasons we don't like traditional financing is, one, there's a seasoning period. And a lot of times you can't stay in that short-term loan long enough to reach the seasoning period required by traditional lenders.
And your money is being held up for too long when you're doing it.
Yep. Other thing about a bridge loan is the property can be vacant or it can have a tenant in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't necessarily just have to have a tenant. It can be vacant when you are doing a bridge loan. All right. So if you're stuck in a property or it's not moving, a bridge loan is a good solution if you plan on still selling the property. Mm-hmm. If you in the property and they won't give you no more extensions, a bridge loan is an option. If your money has almost tapped out and you ain't got that money to keep making those payments while the property's on the market, you need a tenant in there to give you some short-term relief, a bridge loan is your option. Mm-hmm. All right. So a lot of times people don't talk about bridge loans, but bridge loans come in very handy when you are doing multiple properties or if your credit isn't where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. But you still need to refinance it because you want to keep it a little longer.
Yes. I know that our main strategy is the ex-flipper method, to where we like to put tenant buyers in the properties. Sometimes we refinance into bridge loans if we feel like we got a strong tenant, because when we refinance into a bridge loan, we can get money back. Also, if that tenant buys in that 6 months to a year span, we don't have to have a prepayment penalty like with the DSCR.
Yeah. The name of the game is to rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. All right. That's what you want to do. You don't want your money sitting and being stagnant for so long. You want to take it out. You want to rinse it. You want to do it again. Do it again and again and again, because that's what helps you start building up that portfolio. That's what helps you start getting that money back to service to do more things. But as long as that money is tied up in the property, there is no relief. All right. Bridge loans is a tool that we've been using probably since 2017, 2018. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you, they have even gotten better. All right. Since we first started. Don't be afraid to use tools that are in your tool belt to be able to keep going, to be able to build that portfolio, to be able to move to the next deal. All right.
One thing about bridge loans is it really goes to the mantra of we don't buy we don't buy rental properties or turnkey properties. We create them. That's so that we can recycle our money over and over and over and over. Like if you're buying rental properties, you are investing a lot of cash up front with the return coming back is going to be
years from now.
Compared to if we create these rental properties, we can potentially create a rental property and have no money into the deal. If you do it right, like my boy KC, you can make $20,000 on the refinance. So understand that bridge loans fits into that mind and that way of thinking to where that we're always moving, we're always trying to get our money back.
I want to touch on that real quick. Stanley said that's good debt. Absolutely. It definitely is good debt at that point. When you are buying your deals right, and your rehab is not going too much over, you may go over a little, but not too much over, then you have options. All right. And the most important thing is making sure you have options. One of our close friends, he purchased the property. We helped him structure the deal. He purchased the property. He did the renovations. He got a tenant buyer in place. The tenant buyer paid him $5,000 as a non-refundable option fee in order to be able to buy it in the next 6 months to a year. All right. So he made $5,000, right? He made that $5,000 with the tenant buyer. All right. Then he's refinancing. The property appraised more than what the original appraisal was when he got the fix and flip loan. How much did it appraise for?
185.
It appraised for 185. How much did it originally appraise for?
160.
160. So now he's getting, is it 30? Is what I saw on the paper.
His total payout would be $33,000.
$33,000 is what he's getting from doing a cash out refinance.
And that's not including necessary. Well, let me take that back. He's getting a total of $33,000 back, but right now he has $13,000 invested from interest payments. So he's going to net $20,000 profit from his cash out refinance.
On top of that, remember the tenant buyer gave $5,000. So he's really netting $25,000, right? He still keeps the house. The tenant is still going to give him cash flow. So he's still going to make money from a cash flow perspective. And then when he sells, he's going to make even more money. So for those of you, you have your house on the market, you're paying a lot of interest. You're paying those monthly payments. Is not selling. You're also paying holding costs. Those things add up. All right.
Yes, go ahead.
And you don't want it to add up too much to where you can't get out of it. All right. Or you have to leave a lot of money in. Don't just let it sit on the market forever.
Like, for my newbies who don't really understand it, most of the time you estimate a flip to take about 4 to 6 months, start to finish.
Unless it's extensive.
Unless it's a big rehab.
Yeah.
But understand that the longer that you pay holding costs, the longer you make those interest payments, the longer you have that property, you're cutting into your profit. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you're like, hey, I'm going to just hold on to it until it sells. But you don't realize you're racking up expenses and your bottom line is being drastically affected. But you're only looking at how much you're going to get back. So a lot of times if you just refinance, you can get some money back on the refinance, still have the property, and you can get that other profit long term if you even have money. Because if you hold it too long and it don't sell where you wanted to sell, you just did this deal and made no money.
Or nobody likes to talk about this part, or you had to come to the closing table with money in order to sell your flip.
Yeah, that's because you held it too long and you didn't pivot quick enough during the project. All right. So when we go into projects, with borrowing, refinancing as first option. If it sells, that's good.
That's gravy on top.
But we're not necessarily only going into the property saying it gotta sell. Mm-hmm. All right. That is a recipe for disaster. You want to make sure that you buying it right. You want to make sure that you always have an exit strategy to refinance, get your money back, and move on to the next one.
Yeah. And as you see your account starts depreciating, you really need to be looking into refinancing. Okay. Don't let your account get to the point where you have absolutely no money in it. You have no more resources before you refinance. Mm-hmm. No, pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to your rehab. Pay attention to your flip. Pay attention to your expenses and pivot immediately where you know that, okay, this is my last $10,000 that I got for this account. let me start pivoting.
Yep.
Okay. Because what I see that happens so much, it happens all the time, is investors wait until they have $1,000 left, $2,000 left. That last payment is all they have before they want to make the pivot, and it's too late then.
Yeah. Or they wait till they miss the payment, and now they're looking for different ways to exit the property. Now that's why it's good to come to these type of trainings, so that when you're getting to those points, you can maneuver a lot quicker than waiting until your back is against the wall to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Any questions, you guys? Any questions thus far? For those of you who are watching live, put live in the chat. For those of you who are watching on the replay, make sure you put replay in the chat so that way we can monitor it and know you're still watching it. You want to talk about some freebies? You want to talk about your freebie?
Yes, we have a freebie. We're going to give you our top 5 lenders that we like to use, whether that's for a fix and flip or a bridge loan or a DSCR loan. We're going to give you the lenders that we like to use, and all of them different. All of them have different perks. All of them have different pluses and minuses. So that's why it's so important. If you're in that world and you have the time, you want to make sure that you're going with the right one. One size does not fit all.
It does not
in
fit
the
all.
hard money world.
It does
all right?
not fit
I'm
all.
sorry to tell you, just because you go to a lender for one deal doesn't mean that lender is best for all their products. All right.
Absolutely.
I got some lenders that on a bridge refinance, they'll only do 50-60%. So that's not the same as another lender who will do an 80% rate of term refinance. So they're all different. I guess what they're gonna, if they want the list, what they're gonna put
lenders in the chat. Put lenders in the chat. If you want that list, put lenders in the chat.
So what's up, Miss Keisha? What's up, Angel?
Hey, Miss Bailey.
Miss Ward. Any questions, y'all let us know. If you don't understand, kind of let us know. We here to answer and kind of clear these questions up. I know that we talk a lot about fix and flip loans. I know we talk a lot about DSCR loans. We don't really talk about bridge loans, but they are a great tool to have in your tool belt for certain situations.
Yes, they are absolutely amazing tool to have in your tool belt. And again, Tanya and I have used bridge loans.
Yes. I honestly, a lot of times, I kind of prefer to go into a bridge loan first. All right, that's one reason we didn't say bridge loans. All right.
Okay.
So with a DSCR loan, we're finna go deep, y'all. So if I gotta say it
let's
again,
not say DSCR. Let's say a 30-year loan, just in case they get confused.
If they in here, they need to understand that DSCR, long-term rental, and long-term financing, they all the same loan. All right. So you gotta that's a part of being in this group and getting the lingo. All right.
Yeah, you gotta learn the lingo.
DSCR means 30-year loan. All right. That's in a nutshell what it equals to. DSCR means your rent divided by your expenses. So you got to understand these things. All right. So let me tell you, sometimes when I will go into a bridge loan versus a DSCR loan. With a DSCR loan, long-term rental loan, you have to have 3 payments from that tenant for the lender to use that rental amount.
Oh, can we just touch on that just a little bit?
That's what I'm doing. I'm talking about it.
Can I sprinkle my sauce just a little bit? Just a little bit. I'm just gonna sprinkle just a little bit. Can I just? You're gonna make me forget by the time you tell me.
Go on, man.
I forgot. All right, but with that, if you are charging more than the market rent in your area, it is important to have those 3 months of rental payments, because you don't want them to take the average of the area. It's just like comps. They do rental comps. You don't want them to take the average of the area. For example, if the average of the area is 1,300, right? But you've managed to get 1,500 from your tenant, you don't want them to use 1,300, because now the numbers may not number, like the math may not math. So it is important to time that up. If you need 30, yeah, okay. I had to sprinkle that, because that extra 100, that extra 200, that extra $50 can make a difference whether you are cash flowing from a DSCR standpoint or not?
Yes. So with the bridge loan, they're not worrying about your DSCR. So if I just put a tenant in and I'm charging a little more than market rent, I'm going to a DSCR loan because I'm going to a bridge loan, and then if I have to go into a DSCR loan in a year, I'm cool because now I have rental history at that certain rent amount. So understand that's super important when you're doing a DSCR loan, because in that DSCR loan, your interest rate is dictated off of that DSCR. Your leverage is dictated off that DSCR.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it is good to go into the bridge, and most of the time we are pushing our rents because we do lease options and we charge a little bit more for our rental property.
Mm-hmm.
So we are pushing the areas, in 90% of the areas we in, we are pushing the top of it. So we can't go into a DSCR because sometimes the numbers don't necessarily line up for us.
Yeah, because other investors may have not realized that now it's time to increase the market amounts for the rents. And I don't want to use their numbers I want my own numbers. I want to use what I got. So if I don't have the time to wait them 3 months, then I have to go bridge and then go DSCR.
Also, if interest rates are a little higher, you can go into bridge, and then you can kind of choose when you want to go into that DSCR, because in the bridge loan there is no prepayment penalty. Mm-hmm. So even if you get a 24-month bridge loan and pay it off in 6 months, you're only paying the principal back.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all got any questions? I know that was a lot. If y'all got questions, type it in the chat. If you want our lenders list, put lenders in the chat and we'll get you out our lenders list. But I want you to ultimately feel confident. All right. I want you to feel confident in knowing that you have options. All right. So if your property is sitting on the market and it's been sitting on the market 90, 120, 200, this been sitting on the market 200 days, we got a problem, y'all. Okay. It is time for you to literally take it off and redo it. All right. Redo your options. See if you can get a bridge loan, get some temporary relief, and then go put it back on next summer. All right. Next spring. But do not just let your property sit on the market, pay those holding costs. Don't get a tenant in place where it's literally draining you and sucking you dry.
The last thing I want to say before we leave is stop running from debt, y'all. Mr. Wilson mentioned it. Like, learn debt, understand debt, stop running from debt. Y'all, we run to debt. As long as we're getting good debt, we are running to debt, y'all. Stop running from it. And I know it's a little different than what you grew up on, man. I'm trying to get in as much debt as possible. Because and let me
good debt, yeah, good debt.
It's gonna be good debt. So, and I want you to just imagine this. If I have $1 million in debt and I have a rental portfolio, if I got $1 million in debt, how much cash do you think I'm making passively that's positive cash? You got to think about it, all right? If I got $1 million in debt, $1 million in Birmingham will probably get you 6 to 7 good quality houses, all right? How much cash flow, positive cash flow do I have? Like, I'm running to debt as fast as I can because debt is what's going to build you wealth.
And it's going to build it quickly, because trying to save $1 million in your lifetime is practically impossible. Okay. So, but if I can leverage debt, if I can leverage good debt and still get to $1 million, I would prefer to do that and do that in 6 months than try to save it and it take, I don't even know if I'm going to be around by the time I get it.
I don't even know a plan to save $1 million. It don't even make sense.
So who are you listening to, y'all? It's so important. Who are you listening to? Are they creating doubt? Are they creating fear in you? Or are they giving you hope, inspiration, and they're helping and guiding you? It's so important, y'all. It is so important.
I can't wait till I get 10 million in debt, though. Ooh, I'm gonna be so happy.
Y'all.
I'm gonna be so happy. When I get 10 million, ooh.
Listen. let us know if y'all have any questions. All right. If you need to pivot and you need any assistance with it, if you want to talk through a situation that you have and you want Antonia and myself to kind of talk through your situation and what's the best options for you when it comes to refinancing, just drop just say I need to talk in the chat. But I need to talk in the chat and we'll work it out.
Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. We got a closing to go to. One of our good friends is getting ready. She's getting a rehab only loan.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting ready to start her rehab on her second investment property.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go support her, show us some love. Man, y'all have a good day.
Love y'all. Until next time.
Peace.